game of the night last night. Clearly, the double OT heavyweight bout between the Rockets and the Warriors. Houston snapping Golden State's 12-game win streak. And Trace, do you think we learned more about the Rockets last night or the Warriors?
My Rockets. Absolutely, my Rockets, yes. Because these guys with the, D'Antoni offense, I mean, they're so exciting to watch. They're going to put up threes. We all know that. When they're hitting them threes, they can beat anybody in the league. Now, they also can lose to anybody in the league as well. But last night, having James Harden orchestrate the offense, he's a bona fide scorer, triple-double. You have Ryan Anderson shooting the ball the way he did. You have Eric Gordon coming off the bench. If he, God knows, I hope he stays healthy because that'll help us out a lot. And then you have Trevor Ariza. I mean, these guys can compete with anybody when they're playing this type of way. But when they're not making shots, then it's bad. Do
you notice, Brian, that last year it was those Rockets and that this year it's us when he's talking about the Rockets?
By the way, do you like those uniforms?
I'm just saying.
They were in disarray last year.
Do you like those uniforms, those black uniforms?
No, I don't.
I wasn't a fan of those. They look like the Raptors.
I like the gray ones.
But how about Sam Decker? Sam Decker hasn't played minutes like that since he was at Wisconsin. I thought the Rockets
some confidence.
Look, so many possessions at the end of that game came down to the last 5 seconds. And they were able to execute and deliver, get a layup or a three. Ryan Anderson Eric Decker, Sam Decker. It was terrific play under pressure by the Rockets. Does it mean anything in the long term? I don't know. But their schedule's been really, really hard. And their schedule's about to flip.
This is my concern, though. My concern is James Harden has to do so much. I mean, he has to do so much creating for these guys. And it scares me when he goes out of the game, the offense doesn't flow the same.
Well, first of all, I think he wants to do that much, though. So with a guy whose usage is that high when he wants it to be, he is obviously happier, and then that everything is going a little bit more smoothly. I liked last night that defensively, they looked like they were focused and came to play. I mean, they are never going to be an elite defense in the NBA, but look, going toe-to-toe with the Warriors requires playing some defense, and they showed up for that last night in a way that, frankly, we were critical at times.
I will say this.
They haven't before.
They're going to have a decision in the next 72 hours about Donatas Motiejunas, who's about to sign an offer sheet with the Nets. If I'm the Rockets and that offer sheet is anything reasonable, I'm matching it because this team looks like it's going to be able to do something. Like I said, their schedule has been very hard. It's going to flip here. They were a team that we were like, maybe they're a 7-8 seed. Boy, they're playing right now. They look like there could be a top 4 seed. And so it wouldn't surprise me if the Rockets keep Motiejunas and because they want to add him to this roster.
So this is the secret. Play really badly one season. Everyone will underestimate you going into the next season.
Trace will disown you.
Then he'll come back. Then everybody, like all the fans, will come back and be excited about you. I was excited watching that game last night. I thought it was a lot of fun basketball. And of course, one of the most controversial moments of the game came with 2:14 to go in the second overtime. Yep, Draymond Green assessed a flagrant foul for, you guessed it, a leg kick. This time the victim was James Harden, getting a Draymond sneaker to the head, and the subsequent free throws helped seal the win for Houston. So, Brian, how much of an issue has this become for Golden State?
Well, there are people who will tell you that had he not scissor kicked Steven Adams last year, he wouldn't have been suspended for Game 5 of the Finals a few weeks later, and they wouldn't have lost. So you could argue that kicking has already contributed to a certain extent, costing them a championship. And look, there were a lot of things that happened in this game last night. You can't say that, but it was a huge moment in the moment. And look, the rule is you cannot kick players. You can't scissor your leg up over your waist and drop it down on the guy's face. That is against the rules.
I get that, but last night I don't think he tried to do that intentionally. It looked Draymond is not an athletic guy.
If I intentionally elbow you in the head, it would still be a foul.
Draymond is not an athletic guy. So
this man is an NBA champion.
He is. I'm not knocking Draymond. I'm just saying when he jumps up in the air, his balance is just all off, and that's his way of gaining his balance.
Tracy, there's 400 people in the NBA. There's only one guy kicking people left and right. Stop kicking people.
Look, the bottom line is it is specifically against the rules. And they heightened and tightened the rule over the summer. The memo went out. They called it the Draymond rule, basically. I mean, hand checking used to be okay, and now that they've tightened the defensive rules. I mean, there are things that you could do at one point in the NBA. You can't punch someone in the NBA anymore. You used to be able to get away with punching someone on the court. It's against the rules.
It's hard to take that away from him because clearly that's who he is when he jumps up in there.
Fine, don't take it away from him, but you're going to get flagrant fouls for it. And the Warriors were running around after last night's game, ranting and raving about how unfair it was. I mean, Draymond didn't do it with the media, but there were other people in the building complaining about it. by the letter of the law, that was a foul. Bottom line, it's not.
That was a flagrant foul last
night. It's not because they think Draymond's a bad person.
Did you see?
It's just because it's against the rules.
Did you see a couple of possessions later on when he got punched in the face?
Yes. Right? And his point was that should have been a foul.
It should have been a flagrant foul. He got hit in the face.
Right.
And I'll say this: at the last play of regulation, he scissor kicked Decker and knocked him down. That they just let go. I mean, he got away with the kick earlier than that.
So what are you saying? The referees are inconsistent on their calls, right?
I know, but nobody wants more calls in a basketball game. So let's all be careful what we ask for, please. Thank you. Anyway, last night's game was on TNT. We did get some interesting comments from our friend Charles Barkley on the Warriors. Look, he's long been a critic of their style of play. He's reduced them to a jump shooting team. But this time he did take it further. Take a listen.
You're really a Golden State hater. There is no way. You have never, in the last 2 years, this team has been to the finals. At no point ever on this show have you ever said they were the best team in the West. Because in 2 years, and they've been to the final twice. That is blasphemous.
I'm just saying.
Come on, man.
Listen, maybe I'm old school, but I'm never going to like that little girly basketball where you have to outscore.
Well, at least you finally came out and said something like that.
Look, I worked with Charles for 3 years at TNT. We've been friends for a lot longer. I love that man like a big brother. I did text him last night, and I said, Chuck, think about how it feels for girls watching you to hear you use girly or girls as a substitute word for weak or lame. It's not okay. And his point back to me was that he was just having some fun, and that, as he put it, quote, intent matters, and he is right, it does. But to borrow one of Chuck's own favorite phrases, in my opinion, that is still not good enough of a reason to feel okay about using that expression. And this isn't a PC police thing. I'm not offended in any way. This is just about girls out there who love watching Chuck talk about basketball as much as I do, who shouldn't have to grow up feeling that they are the living human stand-in definition for being less than or weak. And frankly, young boys shouldn't be growing up thinking that about girls either. Where are you, Tracy, on this?
Yes, he used a bad substitute word. I'm a fan of basketball, whether it's men or women, college or the pros. I definitely think that was disrespectful towards women basketball. On another note, I think him saying that, the way they play is that type of style, I disagree with him in this sense. It's the evolution of our game, right? That is our style. Now, some may say, well, Charles, back when you played, you backed your opponent down for 15 seconds. Like, that was pretty boring to watch. You know what I mean? So it's the evolution of our game. I think he has to get over, guys taking multiple threes.
It's coded language, but I'll just leave it at this. Tell Draymond Green he plays girly basketball. I mean, that's the Warriors play.
Right, but you're doing it too now.
Now it is soft. The game, I've said, is soft.
Take the word out, put another word in. Tell Draymond Green he plays soft.
Soft. Right.
Tell Zaza Pachulia he plays soft.
Yes, yes, not girly.
Let's see Charles take some elbows from Zaza and see if it's soft.
I will say, of course, the Warriors' ultimate revenge in this is always the photo, right? And Chuck, being a very good sport, did pose for this photo. I don't know if we can show it. Where he said that a jump shooting team couldn't win an NBA championship, and then after the Warriors won the championship, someone sent him this shirt, and he was a good sport.
By the way, the Cavs are a jump shooting team too, so you could almost rechange the colors and put two.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a team that has played in 2 championships back to back, and possibly may play in the 3rd. So.
And I love Charles, still love Charles, and we'll move on from there. All right, we are going to take a quick break here. Welcome back to The Jump from the Windy City, the iconic Chicago Tribune building on Michigan Avenue there, and we are pleased to welcome in General Manager of the Bulls, Garth Foreman. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, most people will tell you that they have this careful off-season plan. It's all done to a T. They know how they're going to do a free agency. They know about the draft. If you sit here and tell me that you knew back in April that Dwayne Wade, Rajon Rondo were going to be joining Jimmy Butler on this team, I would be surprised to hear you say that.
Well, we didn't know that one. I mean, we had a plan.
Yes.
And, our plan was we knew we had to make changes to the roster. And, we had a really nice run for 6 or 7 years. I think the injuries really put us in a tough place. So our plan was, we thought we had some good young pieces. We wanted to add some youth to our roster, and we did. We've now got 10 players on our roster with 3 years less experience. But in doing so, we kind of debated, do we want to go to a full rebuild or do we want to retool this roster? And our decision was to retool it when you've got a Jimmy Butler and some of the young players that we have. So we did want to add some veterans that A, can contribute on the floor, and B, from a leadership perspective, kind of show our young guys what they needed to be doing in the next several years as they develop. So obviously, when Dwayne did become available, we got the best of what we could have hoped for, and it's been everything we hoped for plus more.
There was a little bit of the feeling of, oh, this great opportunity is here, let's grab it. This opportunity is here with Rajon Rondo, let's grab it. How concerned were you, or what was your concern about how they would fit together, the chemistry in the locker room, but also on the floor? You're talking spacing issues, shooting issues.
Yeah.
What were you worried about?
Well, we read a lot about that, but that wasn't a huge concern of ours. We've got some guys that can shoot the ball, in Nikola Mirotic, Doug McDermott, Valentine, who we drafted, Isaiah Cannon, who shot it very well for Philly last year. So, what we were looking at is we had 3 guys that could play make with the basketball, and that's something we hadn't had in the years past. And so we thought they would fit from that perspective, and we really thought their personalities would fit. And I know you guys have read about where Jimmy spent some time with Dwayne when we were recruiting him, and they talked about it. And we spent a lot of time with Rajon for a couple of days before we signed him, and we felt that those 3 wouldn't have a problem fitting here on the floor, and so far they haven't. They've got along great.
From what you see, what kind of impact does Dwayne Wade have on Jimmy Butler?
Well, really he's impacted all our players. And, and I've said this a couple times about Dwayne. I've been here 18 years now, I've been the GM for 8. I've never been around a player that gets it at every level like he gets it. And Brian, you were around him quite a bit, but from an organizational standpoint, from a team standpoint, what he does in the locker room, what he does on the practice floor, how he prepares, which again is such a positive for Jimmy, but for all of our players. And the added benefit of all that is he can still play. So you're getting the best of both worlds. And again, we've just been thrilled with what he's brought to this.
That was a setup question. So tell the cast, why didn't you sign me when I was available?
I know we talked about it.
It's available now.
Yeah.
Come on, guard.
You actually look like you can still play.
By the way, when he's at these arenas, he starts shooting. I can tell you.
I guess I didn't get it.
Scottie Pippen says all the time, and you guys have seen Scottie, he's 49, 50 now. He looks like he can still play.
Yes.
But he'll sit up with us some during the games, and he'll look down at some older players who are now have gone from 3 to stretch 4, and he'll say, my goodness, I could be a stretch 4 in today's game. So I guess I'm going to ask you, could you be a stretch 4?
In today's game, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, so
Could you guard stretch 4s?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
I see Shannon Fry out here. I could guard Shannon Fry.
So you're supposed to be on Countdown later tonight, but that might not happen because you might get a contract in between now and
then. You don't have a roster
spot. We'll see what happens. You talked about making the decision that you wanted to retool some things here. Take me through the process of deciding that you were going to move on from Derrick Rose, who had been such a central part of this franchise for so long.
Yeah, I think it was really the opportunity that we had. We going into the summer, we realized it was probably going to be difficult to keep Joakim Noah and Pau Gasol. And, we thought to get a guy like Robin Lopez, who's been fantastic for us, but to get a 28-year-old center that was locked up on a good contract long term, along with getting Jaren Grant, who's a guy we liked in the draft, we just thought it was a great opportunity for us as we retooled the roster again. With Jaren, get somebody younger, Lopez, get somebody younger. You got to give to get. Right. And I think it's going to be a win for both sides because we fully felt Derrick was going to have a very good year, but we knew he was going into free agency a year from now, and we just thought we could solidify what we were trying to do by getting those couple players.
I mean, you don't usually trade away a guy who was an MVP for you not that long ago. There must have been a little bit of a catch there of, okay, is this really the right move?
Well, I mean, we debated quite a bit about it, and But like I said, we were going to be able to fill some needs that we felt we had, and I think it's good for Derek also. That he gets a fresh start. So like any trade, you hope it's a win-win, and I think it has been.
Let's talk about Jimmy Butler as well. Obviously, continuing to flourish here.
Yeah.
We heard all the rumors. You guys were considering dealing him as well.
Right.
How much truth was there to any of that?
There really wasn't. And, obviously we were getting calls about Jimmy. And some of that was put out, I think, a year ago when Jimmy had made the comment about Fred.
Right.
So some of that he brought on himself, and we had talked about that. But we got calls. It's our job to listen. But we know we have a special player in Jimmy Butler.
And under contract, Gar. He's under contract.
Under very good contract long term.
But it's a great contract.
Yeah.
You couldn't. There's like maybe 2 or 3 guys in the league I would trade Jimmy Butler for, not to do Gar's job for him.
Right.
But I didn't hear any of them attached.
And again, he fit with what we were trying to do is get younger. He still was 26 years old at the time on a good contract, and we've talked all along. He'll continue to get better and grow because of the way he works and his mindset. And he's taken a whole nother step this year, both from what he's doing on the floor and also from a leadership perspective. He's been terrific as far as, again, how he prepares, how he practices, engaging with teammates. So it's been very positive.
I love that video we were showing before. It was from your team video of the guys in the movie theater together, just getting along together. It just seems like you couldn't have asked for all of that to work out better than it has.
The vibe's been terrific, and really 1 through 15, our guys are in a good place. And so there's going to be bumps in the road because we have 4 new starters and 10 new players. But as long as the vibe's good, guys are working, guys are competing and playing together, I think we've got a chance to have a good team.
Well, number 3 in the Eastern Conference right now. Not
too bad.
So congratulations on that. We look forward to tonight and seeing the Battle go there.
Welcome to Chicago.
Thank you. And if you do hire away Tracy in the next hour or two, just give him to the end of the show.
Hey, they brought me in for a workout when I was a free agent. I came in here and sweat.
You almost did. I mean,
and
did
didn't
we
get a call back.
Did we want to retell the story?
Damn, Gar.
Do we want to retell the story about how you were almost traded for Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan squashed the deal? This is before your time.
Yeah, because I worked with Jerry Krause, and
it's true.
Jerry was a huge fan.
Almost made a deal that would have changed the course of NBA history.
You were a free agent several times when you were younger. You could have come here another time.
It worked out. Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
I should have reminded you of that. Didn't we have you in on a free agent visit?
Yeah, but man, that was bad. It was bad.
We will continue this conversation during the break. Thank you, Brian Windhorst. We'll be back right after this, talking a little bit about the Cavaliers. And first, take a look at our distant replay from this date on 2004.
The Spurs shooting is dipped after that great start. Oh, Tim Duncan! Now that is a throwdown. Ben Wallace does not have many of those against him.